Hello, Jimmy from Hairy Campers. As you can see, the poor old Road King's got bug guts all over it and bits of bees and all the rest of the stuff. But anyhow, that'll wash off. Won't be a problem. Uh, we're on our trip where we left Maitland and headed up, and we stayed at Bendemeer last night. It's $5 to stay there overnight. Pretty good spot, really, for what you get for $5. It's not too bad. No showers, but very, very cold. We was there last night and it was freezing. I mean, freezing. We didn't have the right sort of gear with us. We thought we did, but we didn't. But anyhow, we did. We had a pretty good trip up to Bendemeer. But what I wanted to talk to you about was these tyres. These are brand new tyres on the front and brand new tyres on the back. And the whole idea of that was the front one was worn out. It was buggered. I knew that. And the back one I thought was half buggered, half worn out. So there's a place that I buy the tyres from at Orange, and it's called Morris Motorcycles, and Greg does a really good job. He's been putting these tyres on this bike for ever since I've been in Orange for the last 6 years, and they're not expensive. They're Schenko. A lot of people say that they're made in Korea and they'll fall apart, and well, that's not quite right, because I have been known to get 18,000 k's out of the front tyre and about 10,000 or over 10,000 k's out of the back tyre. So that's fairly good as far as I'm concerned. But the point is, what I'm trying to make here is the front tyre was worn on this side here, on the right hand side. Now, the tyre people say to us that's because of the camber of the road, which is probably right. But what we do, and what I've done in the past, and what everybody that I know that rides a motorcycle does this, and what they do is the back tyre's worn out, so we put a new back tyre on it. Now the one on the front is half worn out, but we're not going to put a new front tyre on it. You jump on the bike and you go for a ride and you think, yeah, that handle's okay because it's got a new back tyre on it. Half of it's up here and the other half is because it's got a new back tyre on it. It seems to roll okay. And I've been forced into that false sense of thinking, for the want of a better word. So, because we're going to do 1,400 Ks and this front tyre was buggered, I said to Greg, can you put 2 new tyres on it? So 2 brand new white walls for this, $493. Now, if you don't think your life's worth $493, just stay at home. Leave the bike in the shed and stay at home, because there's too many good people out there that risk their life, like as in fire brigade, rescue people, police, ambulance, and they risk their lives to go out and save idiots if you're going to do things like that. So $495. That'll probably last me for the next maybe 4 years or 3 years, because I do about 2,000 Ks a month, 2,000 Ks a year, I mean. So really, at the end of the day, it's not expensive. And if you don't think your life's worth $493, I'll tell you now, there's only 80 mil by 100 mil of tyre on the road at any one time. So very, very important that they are good tyres. I put new tyres on it, and now when you drop into a corner, it rolls well into the corner. And then when you come out of the corner, it rolls out and stands straight up. You got really, really good control over it. It's like riding a brand new motorcycle. Really, it is. It's like riding this thing when it was new. 2 new tyres on it, and it's only got 50,000 Ks on it, so it's far from being worn out. Look, I've got this mate that rode over to Western Australia many years ago. They were on a Ducati, and on the way over, they lost the chain and it damaged the sprocket, and they sat there for 14 days waiting for another sprocket and chain to turn up, and they did do that, and they got a new sprocket and they got a new chain and they fitted it and said, well, we're not going to go to Western Australia. We're not going to do that because, we've been here for 14 days. We're near broke. Got enough fuel to go home. So I was staying at a motel there or some bloody thing. Now, they only got 160 Ks up the road. Stinking hot day. Really, really hot day. And they blew a front tyre. And Mick, which is this mate I know, he broke this wrist, and wrist I should say. He broke that wrist, took skin off because they only had a t-shirt and, lightly dressed because it was so bloody hot. And the bloke who was riding the motorcycle, he got fairly well hurt too. And it was just a long-winded episode. They had to get the bike home. They had to get themselves home. They had to get themselves to hospital, get all stitched up. Mick had to have a plate put in his arm. So, just for the sake of new tyres. And in them days, we used to just ride around on what we had till the coppers pulled us up and told us put new tyres on it, otherwise I'll defect it and you won't be able to ride it anywhere. So you can see why I'm so passionate about tyres. You're going to do a ride like this, make sure you got good tyres. But anyhow, that's all I really need to say about tyres. With safety, this thing here is a Garmin InReach, and it looks very much like a GPS, and you are dead right, it is a GPS. But the ability to be able to text message on this one. When we went to Darwin, we was looking for a sat phone. Now the sat phone to buy was $899. Then it was $399 to fit it up with a provider. And then it was, I think, $40 a month. And then it was about anywhere from $2 to $6 a minute to make a phone call. I can't make a phone call on this. Don't get me wrong. You can't do that. But what you can do is when that phone is one we're using to film this at the moment. That phone is a iPhone 8X. You can sync that phone with this. Now, you can write a message on that phone and send it via the GPS link with the satellite to whoever you want. It is a little bit expensive, but you get so many free ones. You get about 10 free ones a month. So you just program that on your computer. So what would happen, because we had the grandkids with us, we would send a message back to their mother saying, checking in morning, they're all okay. Now, if we was in range, we would make a phone call, of course. But if he was out of range, this little thing with SOS written on the side of it, you can push it, you can pull it, you can bump it, you can do whatever you want. That's not the secret. The secret is the little switch inside. So that switch, if you was to push that switch, that brings the cavalry. And they don't care. They're not going to make a phone call. They're not going to do anything. They're going to make sure that someone goes out and has a look at where this coordinate says there is a SOS from. It's exactly the same as an EPIRB. They're going to go out there and see if you're okay. Now, if you think you can push that SOS button and hide up in the trees and watch everybody come out and search around to see where you are, you're a little bit wrong, because what they'll do is they'll come out and they'll have a look and they'll search around and find that there's nobody there, and then they'll find out who owns this, because you've got to register it, who owns it, and then they'll go and bang on your door and say, you send us on a wild goose case. Here's a $20,000 fine. Thank you very much. So don't think you can do that. But it's a very, very good bit of gear. Look, and it's a GPS, and it maps, and it does everything that it's supposed to do as a GPS, but it's also a communicator. So you can communicate with SOS, you can communicate with text messages, and you can send a text message to 000. $799. Good bit of gear. Getting cold here in Tenterfield. We're at what we believe to be Craig's Caravan Park, behind the United Garage. It's okay. And I think that's about where we'll leave it. It's okay. We're going to Woodinbong tomorrow, which is, I've spoke to the bloke at Woodinbong, and he's a human, and yeah, they got a camp kitchen. There's no camp kitchen here. They got showers and toilets. They're clean. You can do some washing here. They've got one clothesline. Like I said, we'll just leave it there as it is. I wouldn't rate it all that well. We got these from our great mates BCF, and I said to them, they're a gourmet meal, an outdoors gourmet meal, and everything you want is in there. All you have to do is rip the top off and add water. And I said to them about them, and they said, look, we opened one here, and we had a look at them, and they were okay. They tasted okay. Well, I'm afraid that I have to agree, because we had one last night. Reggie, who's driving the camera at the moment, because Mr. Wilson didn't want to come with us. She had to work anyhow. Basically, rip it off, add 315 mils of water, and wait 10 minutes. And I had half of this bag. Reggie had the other half, and inside of it was a satchel of mashed potato. Same thing again. Just add water, stir it all up, wait 10 minutes. We was quite happy with it. It would taste nice. It was all right to eat. It filled us up. Lord knows why. And there's just that much food in there, but it filled us up. And yeah, for $17, go to BCF and buy these. If you're going to do a trip where you think you can't buy anything, or you don't want to buy anything, or you want to go through that process, or live that bit of a dream that you've always had, that you want to go camping and take these things with you, go and buy them. By all means, they're worth everything. They're every cent. $17 and a meal for two. See, it's gluten free, serves two. This one here is wild mushrooms and lamb risotto. So I can guarantee it, they are really, really good. BCF. BCF again today. Good little seat, $20. Goes on a motorcycle. You have no trouble. You only need to sit on it. That's all you got to do. And trust me, I didn't have one last night. Reggie had his, but I didn't have mine. So it was good. As you can see, we set up pretty well camped up in Tenterfield. Mine tent's there, and Reggie's is over there, and Bite's over there. He's got a BMW. It goes well. You can't complain about that. But anyhow, look, if you like what we do, hit the like button. And if you want to have these emails sent to you, oh, sorry, not emails, these videos sent to you,